Okay, guys, I just wanted to jump on here and post a quick update on a few things. Um, Here in Kansas City, we've had some recent developments. The I mean, I spoke about it in my last video, but the the black community here in Kansas City has issued a no confidence vote in Brian Platt, city manager, and so that's not a big surprise. Um, I personally have dealt with Brian Platt. Um, he's made uh, empty-handed promises to the homeless community, the volunteers. He's made empty promises to the city. Um, Basically, uh, primarily focused at things that were involved with our lower income and black communities. Um, let's call it what it is. I personally don't feel that the mayor is only complicit in uh, ignoring the racially motivated legislatures and anti-homelessness tactics, and this is all still mostly focused at the black community, and uh, you know that's just not how things should be. Um, Brian Platt, you've earned yourself a new nickname, Lion Brian Platt. I doubt you see too much confidence in your future career as a politician. Um, Especially when you're striking down the low income class of the city. Um, the same could be said for our other city leadership. Uh, if you don't support your low income people, uh, they make up the majority of your city, especially in the inner city, and so um, it, it, especially when you have a huge purposely placed uh, lower income area that's been ran that way for generations, and despite uh, positive things being made and efforts for that stuff to have been changed, Kansas City has still chosen to continue gentrifying its neighborhoods and treating its black population very disrespectfully and without regard to health and safety and education. And they can sit there all day and say that they did their best and they honestly fought for change. But if you go back and look at the track records of like um, city council person Shields, she's supposed to be in charge of the affordable housing projects in Kansas City. Kansas City's affordable housing projects have declined in production during the entire time of her being in charge of that. If you go back and look at the numbers, the numbers are there to prove it. And I'm not going to look them up and point out all the paperwork for you. I'm sorry. I've done years, literally years, of research on all this stuff. And I'm pretty confident in the things that I'm talking about to all you folks out there today. Um, I often get in trouble by fellow advocates and people who run some of the charities and stuff. Not really in trouble, but it puts me in a position where I don't really get support from either side a lot because say I have like a firecracker or a fire starter mouth. But that's because I come at them hard with questions that they can't seem to answer, and it's things that they should answer to because they are accountable for it. Our city leaderships have said everything that you could possibly say about homelessness except for I really want to help the problem. And it's not a homelessness problem, it's a societal problem. It's about whether you choose to care or not. Um, you know, we all really come from the same place, the same peoples. We all just one people, we humans, and There's a lot of folks out there that refuse to see that on all sides. Black, white, brown, purple, whatever. Um, you know, uh, some folks got it twisted, and some folks don't. Some folks can agree with scientific fact. Okay, um, white people hate to admit it, but we just faded black folks. Uh, if you trace your genealogical heritage back to as far as it can possibly be traced, um, it's going to go back to Africa somewhere, or the general population of people that came from Africa and then spread to the rest of the planet. Now, even if there were other people in other areas of the planet, they still bred with African Americans. So we all have African American heritage to some degree in our bloodline. So, uh, you know, I just consider myself a human being, really. Um, you know, I can't say that I believe that I'm black, or that I believe I'm white, because in order to believe in something, you have to not see it. And I caught this bit of logic on a man's clip on Instagram the other day, and that is, to believe in something, you have to have never seen it. So you know you believe in God, don't you? But you've never seen it. Uh, Perfect example. Um, you could say you believe in gravity, but you haven't seen it. You've seen what it does to things, but you can't see gravity itself. You can't see magnetism, uh, but we believe in it. Magnetism can be changed with just the flip of a switch in an atomic structure. Um, so uh, it's the same. It's the same stuff. Guys, you gotta start sharing some love for one another, and reaching out to your other peoples. People make mistakes. They get criminal histories, and sometimes those are compounded by their homeless situations. Um, because most cities have a lot of laws in place where if you're a homeless person, you're almost damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're gonna end up breaking some of the laws some of the time because of circumstance. It could be anything from having a fire outside that's not covered to peeing in public. If all the gas stations don't allow you to use the restrooms anymore, where else are you going to go? I mean, even if you try to be kind enough to go behind the building or something like that, they don't care. The fact is you peed in public, so they charge you with uh, basically exposure, and then you're marked as a pedophile uh, because you had nowhere else to use the restroom. That kind of stuff isn't fair to uh, those folks. Uh, at the very least, it's not fair to their kids. It's not fair to anybody who comes into contact with that person, because at that point you've marked them with something uh, catastrophic to their life, and it's because they had to use the restroom. That kind of stuff is ridiculous. That's the kind of legislature we need to be changed, and or make legislature that makes it a requirement for gas stations to keep the bathrooms open to the public. Then homeless folks wouldn't be caught pissing and shitting in public. I mean, let's keep it real. You can't. That goes under the same principle as my next point, is that you can't expect people to go somewhere when they got nowhere to go. You have business owners and politicians and NIMBY. NIMBY is the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Not in my backyard. Oh, even the name is foolish, because the people are in your backyard to begin with. They've always been there. Some of them been there 20, 30 years. You turned a blind eye to those people and ignored the fact that there was people in need in your community. And as your community fell apart and the need became greater, you turned a bigger blind eye to it, despite the fact that the numbers show that the need was increasing and that you needed to pour some money into your low-income communities to help support them. And you were given money to do so by federal regulators. They sent money in the form of COVID relief funds, and a large portion of that money was earmarked specifically for the immediate creation of houses for homeless individuals to help protect them against COVID. Now, Kansas City postponed that. For what reason, I don't know. I'm surprised the feds haven't come in and taken that money away from them and spent it for them, because those funds, could have helped the 750 homeless people that were trapped chronically outside all of last year through the worst parts of winter and the worst parts of summer. And I can't expect the community to come up with these kinds of monies. I can't expect a 501c3 to come up with these kinds of monies, because it's not logical. The way their funds are distributed, it doesn't prepare them in any way, shape, or form for something like COVID, a pandemic. Let's use our common sense here. Y'all are supposed to be like business leaders and political geniuses, and y'all out there making some of the stupidest moves I've ever seen. I got one city hall leader who says, I don't give a damn about these fucking pallet shelters. I don't want to see them in my city. You can sell them to the nearest county for $1. I don't give a fuck. Get them out of here. Okay? Now, I could name that city hall representative, but I'm pretty sure y'all could guess who she is, because, she's a damn hypocrite. I can't say this. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. What I will say is we've been battling this battle with Kansas City for 3.5 years. I call it a battle. To me, it's a freaking war. 150 of my friends have died in the last 3.5 years. I'm not homeless no more. I was blessed. All right, I come out lucky, and I was just given a place to stay. But because of that, and this is the proof to me that Housing First works. Because of me getting that opportunity to have a place to stay, I was able to get sober, stay sober, reconnect with my children, and start handling my mental disabilities and other things the way society feels that I should take care of them. And it's working for me. But I did it at my choice, which is, what Housing First is about. You give somebody a place to stay, they're able to sleep and eat and shower and do all the normal things that normal society can do, then they start acting like a normal person. They start getting some consciousness and stop being in defense mode where they feel they're in fight or flight mode 24/7. They get time to chill and calm down. So that's why I'm so supportive of these pallet shelters. Now, I've had one of these pallet shelters offered to me, and then when I found a place for that pallet shelter, I couldn't get the person with the pallet shelter to connect to the person with the space for the pallet shelter because of their personal differences, or whatever the problem is. They say it's not because of personal differences and that they're willing to talk to one another, but I still don't see any pallet shelter being placed anywhere in Kansas City. So you guys man up or man out. Get out the way if you're just going to hold up progress, man. The Kansas City tenants, they won a victory this week. They saved, like 20 people from losing their homes. And I'm not downplaying their efforts. Awesome job. It's a good first step in the right direction, and that's what we need to see. So I love Casey Tenants. I support them fully. They've done some really great things to help protect not just the black community, but the black community and the low income community in general. Casey Tenants they looking out for humans, not just black folks, not just white folks. That's how more organizations need to be. These organizations, everybody out here specializes, and in a lot of cases that needs to be done. But if someone who doesn't fit your criteria of needs walks into your lobby, you shouldn't be turning that person away or telling them that you can't help them just because they don't fit in your demographic. Somebody should be there to help them find the right place, because maybe they just don't know anywhere else to go. It may be the only place that they had where they could even try to reach out for help. And you may be taking that one person's one genuine reach out and cry out for help and flushing it down the toilet when you say, "I'm sorry, honey, there's nothing I can do for you." And you could say, "I'm sorry, honey, there's nothing I can do for you today." At least that way you're not totally smashing their hopes and dreams. But you could say, "You know what, why don't we sit down and we'll find somebody that can help you and we'll get you there." There was one time when I was homeless. I was starving, and I stopped by the family shelter, and it was just like, "Can y'all throw me a bag of chips? Can I get something out the vending machine? I got $1.50." And she said, "No, you need to leave, and if you don't leave, I'm going to call the police." Well, thanks. I hope she got her karma. I'm sure she did. And I know that's rude of me to say, but I'm that type of person. Okay, I'm not going to be shy about it. I believe in karma. I believe that people suffer what they got coming to them because, that's what they oftentimes deserve. Now, there's injustices, so don't say that I said that that's 100%, because I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that most of the time, if you go around doing bad things to bad people, you're going to suffer some bad consequence because of it. Brian Platt, you stood up there in your purple velvet suit and your flashy hairdo, and you sat there and told people they were going to have pallet shelters, and they were going to have funding to have security, and they were not just going to have security, they were going to have on-site help in the form of mental health care providers and medical health care providers. And the mayor been on here co-signing on the sides, but then when it comes to speaking out in public, all he wants to say is, "Oh, I've been homeless, I understand the homeless epidemic, and if I can crawl out of it by myself, well then so can they." Okay, well, hold up. First of all, when you were homeless, you was a child, and you stayed at your auntie's house. It's not like you was kicking it on the street, living in a car in the dead cold of winter, like some other motherfuckers, okay? Some of these homeless people out here have been homeless for real, even more so than I. Like, I was out off and on the streets for about 3 years, and I did some bouncing around. I did a lot of hiding out, and I had to face myself and come out of that. But I didn't come out of it with no help. It took help. It took me getting that place to stay offered to me where I was away from the things that were dragging me down, and it gave me a moment to bring myself up. So, um, I'm saying most people I feel can't do it on their own, because when you're on the street, you've broken down. Uh, your 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 true personality isn't there no more, because you constantly on defense, and even when you not on defense, you still on defense, because even doing anything so much as a nap can cost you everything you own. You know, so uh, have some awareness of the folks that are out there. Um, People like the mayor and Lion Brian Platt. Uh, I consider y'all co-conspirators in not meeting up to the public's needs, because you guys both made a bunch of empty-handed promises to the public. You made a bunch of empty-handed promises to the people you were supposed to be helping, and in the process, I caught you guys making several lies about it. You lied about not doing camp sweeps. You lied about not uh, uh, mistreating people. There's a special fund in Kansas City for homeless people who feel that they've been mistreated by the city, and all they have to do is go up and fill out a form, and then sign a non-disclosure agreement so that they can't talk about it. And then the city issues them a small fund of, like 10 grand or something, and those people get hushed on out the door. Um, it could be for various different reasons. It could be because they were homeless. It could be because they were black. It could be because they were white. It could be because they was a woman. Um, you know, uh, it happens all the time. uh, I know my local Kansas City black community out there. All y'all may not know me too well, but I've been trying to speak up for the community, because while I understand that black folks want to see people out there that look like them doing things to help them, I don't feel like they should feel that it's just themselves out there doing it. So, as a white person, um, you know, uh, I'm a big supporter of the things that just treat us all like human beings. So, uh, those are the things I'm more in support of. So, do I believe in equality? Fuck yeah. Do I think things are right now? No, absolutely not. There's a lot of wrong in this country, but we can start fixing that stuff. But we need to start at the base, at the bottom of the income, at the bottom of the base of the problems for society. We can't raise up society and not raise up homeless. Okay, because if they're still homeless, we still fail. There's places around the country and around the world that have gotten close to eliminating homelessness, or basically eliminated it entirely, uh, by using housing first methods, pathways, a couple of these other places. And none of these places sponsor me. This is not any type of paid for type advertisement. This is general research that I've done myself and gotten out there and learned the stuff for myself. You can go to the National Low Income Housing website. You can Google that. I'll try to post some links later for you guys. You can also visit, of course, the people who do the Section 8 program and stuff like that themselves for information. I'll also be posting some more videos and things where I'll share my screen with you guys so you can see some of the stuff that I'm talking about. But it's time to elect us some new leaders here in Kansas City. People that aren't two-faced about caring about people. When you have 4,300 roughly domestic violence calls last year that went unanswered in Kansas City, there's a problem with your support structure. If you have 13,000 700 people on the housing waiting list, there's a problem in your structure and it needs to be changed. Notably, with provision of housing. If you give people housing, they can become productive members again because they have stability. Let's do that. Let's get some money together. Let's buy some property out here. Build some tiny homes. Make them fireproof. Make them out of concrete. Do something. Use our heads. Let's make smart investments, but let's help people. Let's get them off the ground outside and stop spending money on emergency services and police to pick them up and take them to an emergency room every night because they out there struggling with their health because they got no stability. You know, there's homeless people I know that they need to have life-saving surgeries. I know a couple right now, a couple of people that need life-saving surgeries. They're afraid to go and get them because their risk of getting infection when they come out of surgery is higher than the risk of taking the surgery itself. Their risk of losing that limb or developing staph or becoming septic or whatever kind of situation problem you can think of. If you outside sleeping in the dirt, how are you supposed to get better? How are you supposed to get clean? How are you supposed to not die? I don't know. I need to start bringing in some survival tips and some things for folks out there that are newly homeless that haven't been before, because that's a common situation for folks, and it's scary. It's real scary because most people don't know where to get food. They don't know where to get help with shelter. They don't know where to get help with all kinds of things. So I'm going to start bringing in some information on these videos and educating people, because that's what really needs to be done. I'm not a certified teacher. I don't have any type of license or anything that proves, that I'm capable of teaching anybody. But what I can tell you is that I am a life educator. I educate people. I don't teach them nothing, because when you teach somebody something, you talking at them. You're spitting facts that, it's an indoctrination. So we're going to educate folks, not teach people things. So we educate people on how to survive. We're going to educate people on how to find services. We're going to educate people on better ways to work together and better ways to survive. Because let me ask y'all a question, and y'all can answer this in the comments or whenever you get around to it. Wherever you are, it doesn't matter, U.S., Russia, whatever, wherever you are, if you're homeless and you got nowhere to go, where do you go? I'll have some more questions for y'all later, but let's just start there. And if you've never been homeless, I encourage you to learn some stories about some homeless folks and find out what they've been through. And you will find some of them were drug addicts or alcoholics or whatever, but not everybody. There's some. A lot of people became addicts once they got to the street because it was their only way of coping without loved ones and family structure and cleanliness and basic toilet usage and the ability to take a shower more often than whenever you can find it. So you guys try to keep it positive out there today. Drop a bottle of water off to your local homeless person. I ain't saying you gotta invite people into your house and let them crash on your couch. I don't encourage that. That's not the best idea. For some of you, that might be a good way to get hurt or to get involved in some stuff you don't want to be involved in. Don't do that. But get out there and get to know folks. If you're going to go out and do some type of outreach in your local community and you don't want to join a charity group to do it, you can, but do it smartly. Do it in groups of like 4 or 5 people, 6 people, 12 people, and not because you need to be prepared for some crazy stuff. It's for everybody's safety. There's always safety in numbers, okay? So you're not going out to go out and try to protect yourself while helping people. What you're going to be doing is you're helping people and being prepared for any situation. So go out there, be in groups of people of at least 4 or more. I strongly encourage that. A lot of people say at least 3. I say 4. Really, I personally don't feel comfortable going with less than 6 people. But that's just because I deal with camps with large numbers. You know, if you're just helping the 1 or 2 people down on the corner, 4 people's plenty. You know, and you don't have to all run up on it, okay? You send 1 person over to ask if they need food or supplies, and if they do, you know, you pop open your trunk, you got a case of water sitting in there, you got some like PB&J sandwiches, or you know, some Twinkies and Ho-Hos. You know, not every homeless person is going to want sweets. A lot of them don't like sweets, but that's because their teeth are bad, or they ain't got no teeth, and there's lots of things they can't eat, like nuts or anything, you know, potato chips half the time even. So try to think about what you're giving people, and you know, utilize some common sense. Be polite. If they seem disgruntled or troubled somehow, you know, offer, if you have it, and you're not a complete. I know I'm going to get harped on by somebody for this, for encouraging smoking, but offer them a coffee or a cigarette, because that's very often a very quick way to just help calm a homeless person down. I've been homeless before, and when you are hungry and thirsty and irritated and freaking out, the main things you want is like something on your stomach and a moment of peace and comfort. And I personally found that in a cigarette. So a cigarette to me on a day when I didn't have one was a blessing, even if God would frown upon it, because you know, without that cigarette, who knows, you know. I might have done something stupid. I was blessed. Be blessed, stay blessed. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm thinking I'm not gonna be able to keep these videos under a half hour, so just prepare for that in the future. I will be probably planning on about an hour. I'm going to try to get things organized enough to where I can present an hour's worth of decent stuff for you guys and not just ramble. So yeah, look forward to all that stuff. Look forward to more stuff from our buddies in Upland. I'm sure we'll have some community stuff going on here soon, and maybe some stuff you can win. I don't know. We'll have to play around a little bit and see what we can get going. But I fully intend on making this a full part of my project and using this to help get some word out in Kansas City. I'm out here trying to conduct an experiment with Upland. Not officially, just with Upland, the app. I want to eventually, hopefully, get my account around to where it's productive enough that I can provide residual funding for building houses and maintaining houses that homeless people can live in for a couple of years, minimally, to get plenty of time to get set up and on their feet and stable, and then stay housed once they're out of housing. Because during that 2 years, they'll have the ability to take some classes to learn how to manage a checkbook and do all the things that a lot of folks never bothered to teach their kids out here. Or, you know, some people don't have parents. So, you know, who's supposed to teach you that stuff? There's a lot of that out there. So try to look at homeless people in a new light, okay? Instead of looking at them as seeing a drunk or an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever the case might be. If you got a brother or a sister or a dad or an uncle or a cousin or maybe a nephew that you really care about, I want you to think about for a minute, if that person's house burned down or their father died or something and they became houseless, and let's say they didn't know you, what services are out there in your area to help that person that you care about so much? If you're one of them folks out there that says, oh, well, I'm financially well off enough that I should never have to worry about that, well, then let's pray that all of your financial stuff doesn't get destroyed in the fire and that your entire fortune isn't lost by some crazy circumstance. And God bless you. I hope you come out good. But there's a lot of folks that don't have that financial stability in this country, and especially here in this city. I did want to point out, we have the truth divide here. It's the biggest financial divider and racial divider in the country, still to this day. It's 2023. Don't you think that should have changed by now? You know what? I spent years on the East Side, and I fucking love it there. The East Side has got more love and more character to it, and more. They got more love for Kansas City than Kansas City ever had love for them. To everybody out there on the East Side, man, y'all deserve your potholes fixed. You deserve some decent damn sidewalks. You deserve decent police patrols. And I'm trying to help find ways to do that without giving people additional criminal records or without trying to shove them out of their own neighborhoods. If you want to stay in your neighborhood, I want you to stay in your neighborhood. And so we need to start pushing more to not just help out like just the low and no income folks, but you guys have to keep in mind, if city leaders are willing to step on their basic rights and basic needs, why wouldn't they step on yours next? Okay? So think about that for a while, especially when you get ready to go to that next vote. I strongly encourage voting. I probably haven't been the best patriotical person in the U.S. over the years. There's been many times I've disagreed with our government and some of the way things work, but I've also grown up and learned that the best way to handle those things is to make them change, and to do that through the right channels, even if the wrong people out there aren't using the right channels. We can be better than that, and so let's do better than that. We can do better, KC. Hashtag we can do better, KC. I want that posted everywhere, and I hope it brings all these politicians' eyes right back to me, because I know they're sick of looking at me. They've seen me in City Hall, they've seen me at their meetings, they've seen me at neighborhood meetings. They have done everything they can to deflect me and push me off the subject. Brian Platt himself has promised me that we was going to get those pallet shelters. He also promised me that we were going to get some houses. He also promised me that they were working on some solutions, but I didn't see any. You guys put together a houseless task force, which sounds like some horrible thing to go out there and task with. I'm amazed at the city leadership here, really. We have one lady say, well, what if they poop and pee inside of their shelters? Who does that? Nobody does that, man. I mean, if you old and you got some prostate issues, maybe you couldn't make it to the bathroom. I could see you going behind your shelter or something, but not in your shelter. Okay? Nobody pees and poops where they sleep. I don't know who does that. Nobody I know. So let's give other human beings some credit, okay? Just because you are homeless doesn't mean that you aren't trying to live decent. Homeless people don't get trash pickup. They can't haul things really down to the recycling. So they might be trying to do whatever it is they can to make money and making a mess in the process. We're not giving them other options, people. You guys want to complain about the mess and the trash in the streets and on the side of the streets and seeing these people living in waste. But while you're doing things to clean it up and you doing things to dislocate the people from the services that they are in connection with by moving them again without waiting a decent amount enough time for somebody to find somewhere for them to go, then you ain't doing things right. There's problems in the system, and people need to be aware of those problems. So that's what I'm here for, is to spread the word all across Kansas City that the llamas are here. We are here to take over. My new llama hat. My girl got this for me. Thank you, baby. This is my new llama hat. Okay. So in support of Upland and my project with Upland, if you would like to reach out, I'm looking for sponsors. I'm looking for anybody who wants to throw, let me rephrase that, gift. Somebody who wants to gift some money towards a project or assist in the design and implementation of this project. I'm looking for investors. I'm looking for people to sponsor my show. I'm looking for everything I can to get things up and get them started so we can start correcting some of these issues that ain't been touched in 3.5 years here in Kansas City, and not just here. It's time we brought some common sense, around. So, if we can get things done here in Kansas City, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna start working on the next one, because nobody in the United States of America should be homeless. We the richest damn country. Let me say it. We are the richest damn country in the world. We have the smartest damn people in the world at our disposal. We have the best damn technology in the world. I'm sorry if my volume was out there, my bad. If we the best, why are we slacking at solving issues like homelessness? I'm sorry. If you in the United States and you live in a major city and you become homeless, you shouldn't be homeless for more than 48 hours. 2 days. Now, permanently housed? Maybe not. But they should at least have some sort of temporary shelters. And I say shelters because I don't agree with mass shelters. If you're a person with anxiety, or social anxiety, or schizophrenia, or something like that, you can't be around a ton of people, man. It's not good for you to be alone in an apartment. Because then if you do something crazy, you're going to hurt other people with you. And that's not good for nobody. So let's try to be smart about how we're setting things up for folks. And empathetic. I mean, I ain't got nothing against people who live in apartments. But I used to live in apartments. I hated it. You got people bumping on the wall. You got people bumping on the ceiling. You got people bumping on the floor. You got people yelling. You got people calling the cops. You got people over here smoking dope. You got people over here getting mad because there's people over here smoking dope. You got people getting mad because so-and-so's kid ran down the hall making some noise during their nap time. Whatever. Let's lower our carbon footprint. Let's not build apartments. Let's build some tiny homes. Give people their own space in an affordable manner, but in a community where they can have the care and attention that they deserve from physical and mental health providers, so that those services can be offered. And living in tiny homes is trendy these days. People love it. You could be building great moneymaker neighborhoods and housing the homeless, and the providers are going to love the place that they're looking at, as because they're like, ooh, a tiny home. My kids are all off to college. I ain't got no more kids. I don't need a huge house. I want to live in Kansas City, but I don't want to waste all this space, and I don't want to leave a huge carbon footprint. Okay, so let's build some earth-ship homes. Have you ever heard of those? They're made from 80% recycled materials, and they look beautiful despite being made out of trash. So I really applaud that system of building. Tiny homes, it to me, I'm not too picky about how they're done, but depending on the situations that you're dealing with, those things need to be taken into consideration. I mean, if you're dealing with a bunch of peaceful, elderly folks that just all want to live in a tight-knit community where they can eat dinner together and, go handle their business, whatever, they should be able to do that in a way that feels safe to them. So like if wooden structures suit that demographic better, great. I personally recommend things that can't be burnt, just as it saves money in the long run for everybody. Most things that are fireproof are typically waterproof as well, so at least to my knowledge, and in my experience. So that makes sense. They got these places with these apartments that got like automated water shut off and things like that. Half the time the sensors don't work. I don't understand that. Until you perfect the technology, don't bring it out here on the table, okay? Let's stick with things that we know that work. So either mostly concrete or all concrete structures. I know concrete can be burnt. It's not infallible, but it's better than some of the other options. Wood burns up quick, styrofoam burn up quick. All these other things out here that you can build houses out of. Even with fire retardants built into them, you're still dealing with a flammable product. So you got some toxic shit in there that's gonna hurt somebody, man. We shouldn't be building things like that. We're supposed to be leading the way to a greener, greater Kansas City. So let's do that. Let's give people a place to garden in their homes year-round, so they can grow their own food. They don't have to go to the supermarkets often, and they can live healthier. That doesn't just help us; it helps the community as a whole. And also, you're probably going to put all these folks in places where there's grocery store deserts. This will help with that as well. Kansas Cityans are tired of relying on city government to try to bring reliable shopping centers and grocery stores and all this stuff to them. And so a lot of us out here working on becoming more independent of the city and more self-reliant. And so to me, that's not a bad thing. I feel like we are at a point in society where we should be, especially if that's a better way to live all the way around. I mean, why not? Let's do it. Yep. Let's build those communities where the providers can live in kind of the same area as the people they're taking care of, and both parties are going to be satisfied with their housing because it's the same housing. Um, you know, our healthcare providers in Kansas City, they need better pay. The pay out here for healthcare providers is terrible, especially for mental health care providers. They should be getting paid the most, and they make less than some of our people out here working at McDonald's. So let's get some things straightened out here in Kansas City, and then let's spread it across the U.S. and then hopefully to the world. We don't need to design war machines and stuff to make money. What we need to do is design things that can help sustain us all and sustain us all better, and in a way that we can do it without destroying the planet in the process. So let's get back to our true initiatives, Kansas City, of being green, of having supportable infrastructure, green infrastructure, and uniquely designed neighborhoods that employ the companies and peoples in the neighborhoods that we are working in. Kansas City, if I remember right, like 10, 15 years ago, made a promise to start using Kansas City-owned businesses for their buildings and for all of their housing projects. And, Shields messed that up by working with Mac Properties. Keep investors from other cities, unless you come here, I'm telling you, if this ain't your hometown, unless you come in with some big bucks, and you're going to listen to a plan like mine, or one of my fellow constituents that's got a good plan designed, don't come here. You're going to get kicked out like Mac Properties did, because if we catch you taking advantage of our low-income and black people, we're gonna come for you. We're going to get you, because we're tired of it here. So don't do that. Last thing I did want to mention, I really want to thank my Upland support base. Without them, I wouldn't be sitting here even having this conversation right now. Well, it's not really a conversation. I'm talking to myself. But I'm talking to you guys. It's a time difference. Let's have fun. Let's be llamas. Human beings, but we all llamas. Let's have some fun. I'll continue being here and being crazy at your disposal as often as I can be. I'll try to post a couple videos each week at least if I can. I'm going to try to shoot for Mondays and go from there. So bear with me. I'm going to work this out, and I'm going to get organized. We get this situated, but this stuff's kind of new to me, so thank you for chilling with me for the past hour. And I hope that when you guys step back out into the metaverse, you're out there doing something to help somebody and paying it forward. So y'all be safe. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day, and stay out of trouble. Politicians in KC, we watching you. Don't be lying, because that stuff will come back to haunt you.